Hey everyone, welcome to Lessons with Ricardo. This is Ricardo Bilenzar. This is the second of my series covering the home lab slash cyber range I'm building. And if you missed the first one, go back and check it out. It actually covers the work I put into making the shelving, the makeshift rack, and so forth. Today we're going to focus on the wall mounted PC behind me. It is very special to me. Been in my home for over 12 years, and it was just so exciting to convert it over to a wall mount to something as beautiful and stunning as it is now, at least in my eyes, right? That being said, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, like, subscribe, comment, and share. See you in a little bit. Bye.
Building of my maniacal, no, just a regular at-home computer lab. So if you've been following this long into the journey, first of all, you notice this up here is a little different. I'm trying to organize. So this corner over here, I've done a lot of organization. So I have my model airplane, some of my lighting equipment up there, tripod I should be using for this today, but I don't feel like taking it down. It is late, for me at least, right? But anyway, so the point of this video is to start the next stage in my lab, which is hanging my old PC, which is still very relevant, hanging this on that wall mount. Yes. So instead of pushing through like I used to do back in the day, when I was a little younger, I'm going to do this in stages. I'm not going to rush this. So the first thing I'm going to do tonight is literally just point out the board. And what I'm going to do is start pulling pieces out of the existing case and getting it ready to transfer. So that being said, first of all, thank you for watching. Please continue to do so. And I still haven't decided what platform I'm going to post this on. Probably posting on a lot of them. So if it's YouTube, subscribe, like it. And I'm being very disciplined because I really want to open the new graphics card for the mount, the wall mounted. So I want to get into that, and if you can't tell, this is a huge box. I'm not a small dude at all. Actually, I have a very large head, and this is way bigger than my head, and it's actually quite hefty. Probably about 3 pounds. The box, 3-4 pounds. Let's take a look at the board, the mount, the wall mount. Okay, so what you have here is a Etsy ordered wall mount. It's pretty much custom, handmade. I didn't request it that way. It's just that, Etsy is a platform where people make their goods, and they typically do it in small quantities, which makes it a little more personable. Some people may have larger capacity. But anyway, the point is, this is a pretty much custom board. So this is mounted on the wall with 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 behind here. So behind there, 3 screws. I have the center one directly on a stud, which you can tell from the lines. If you can see those lines up here, I drew out the studs from before, left those on there, and I will be cleaning the walls once I finish all my build. So I'll take the computer off the wall, clean my walls up, get all the lines off of it, and then make it look really pretty. My wife wants to paint, but we'll see what happens. Now, what you notice is that there's the little piece back here. This is actually the the graphics card mount that you will select. You will select out of these holes where to position it on the mount. And that is in reference to how large a card you have. So this is where the motherboard will go. So how large a motherboard is will determine where you position the graphics. Okay. This one right here behind this little grate, this is actually the mount for the power supply. So it's meant to be screwed in about this area. It'll come out this way, and the power supply will sit on top of it. You'll screw it in to secure it. These 2 larger grates are actually ventilation for water cooling, which a lot of my colleagues actually say don't do that. There's an open air, open box setup. It should have enough air flowing over it to keep things cool as long as your house stays cool. Which the first floor of my house is cold during the winter, so I'm not worried about wintertime. Summer, a little different. But I have a huge cool master fan on top of my CPU. Been there for years. You'll see that in a moment. All right, that's it. That's the mount. Let's get into the box. So I am back. Now, if you saw some of my previous videos, and when I built that server over there, what you'll notice is that I always wear gloves. All right, so one thing I take very seriously is making sure that my equipment lasts as long as possible, which means I do not allow myself to shock any of my equipment by accident or on purpose. Now, how do we make sure we don't give a static charge to the circuitry on the machine? Well, two things. You ground yourself, which is make sure you're always in contact with a metal, a part of the frame itself, or you use these gloves. Now, what I do, old school method, is you always touch the metal and you don't move an inch afterwards. You literally just move your hands around, but you don't move the rest of your body. Because the thing about it, one thing I'm really cautious about right now is I'm doing it during the winter time. And if you know anything about static charges, they happen more frequently during this time of year when it's cold, dry air and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I don't shock anything. This is my baby. I built it myself years ago and it still runs beautifully. And I want to make sure it continues to run. So I'm going to make sure I don't shock anything. All right. The cool thing about it, if you can see this, I don't know if the lighting, need more lighting. But hey, that's what the video series is about. How well does this do without the proper lighting? Do you like the videos? Do you hate the videos? Please comment. Let me know. Pretty sure you're going to hate them. All right, so that being said, let me put my gloves on, and then we'll get into opening the box and start disconnecting stuff. So now you have a lot more light from the ceiling above. I have no external lights. What you'll notice is that this machine was a beauty to me. I'm actually going to plan on keeping the box because I will build another machine. And I'll just reuse the box for that because I love the layout of this. I don't think I see this very often, but this are, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just don't have the rack. 6, 7. I got 7 bays in this layout just for hard drives. That's 7 hard drives this thing total. So it's fully decked out for RAID if I wanted to do RAID. Then I have the 4 slots for drives. So that tells you right there, this is an older box. I built it more than 10 years ago when we still use CD-ROMs, DVDs, stuff like that. But it's ready to mount all that. So I love it. You'll notice I have I want to say this 16 gig worth of RAM in here. And I still have 2 extra slots to fill in. But anyway, and then like I said, I got the Deep Cool Master right over top of my CPU. I'm hoping this beast still blows very well, and it collects the heat from the chip and blows it right out. So my wife might actually enjoy it more because she'll get slightly more heat in the house. So I'm just disconnecting the fan connections first. And like I said, I try to touch the side before I even jump into it, but I got my gloves on. I'm not really too concerned about anything. So just want to be careful of the cable. So got that. What I'm really sad about is losing these fans up here. These are my LED fans. These are like red. And then I think those are the white ones. The red ones are over here in the front part. Those are red ones. And then I have the one in the rear that doesn't do any color at all. But anyway, also you notice I had 2 slots. The doors to the slots, I guess, were removed because I actually started running a GPU very similar to the one I'm excited about opening. I started running that when I originally had the board. Something happened. It crapped out on me. This was no good at that point. So I'm going to see if I got the finger dexterity to do this in one hand. And it is making me look very weak. And yes, my board is very dusty. This is an ASUS. If I didn't tell you, so it's an ASUS right there. ASUS PBZ77V
LE, not the Pro Edition, just the LE. But I've had no complaints. Of course, I probably don't complain about much anyway. When I have a problem, I just fix it. Let me go and disconnect the USB stuff. So that's the USB cable, one of them. There are quite a few USB ports on here. So USB is now disconnected. Throw that out the way. Okay, and then start disconnecting the motherboard. The power supply for the motherboard is right here. Once again, making my finger dexterity look horrible. I'm gonna say it's the years of being stuck in here. Bam. Right hand, baby. I got it. Right hand. Pulled it right off. So this was a power supply that came with the 20 pin, completely connected with an extension of 4 for equal 24 pin connection to the motherboard. Most power supplies actually come with the connectors you need. So don't be like me and go out and buy a useless adapter because you probably don't need it. Now for the CPU power. So what you'll notice is that the motherboard has a power connector, and then the CPU. Each CPU will have its own power connector on the motherboard from the power supply. Like I said, the video I showed my server, if I captured as much footage as I'm thinking I did now, you'll see all of that in more detail. Now I'm not going to expose my CPU. There's no reason to do that. And I probably didn't even have to do that anyway. That's a CPU fan. I can leave that connected because that's staying. Bam! So connect that back on. That's going to stay exactly where it is. And that's the cables to the CPU fan here. Alright, so I've pretty much gotten everything. Let me position the phone a little bit. Oh. Alright, what I just did, I got that very stubborn fan connection, power connection. That's the one to the exhaust fan in the back. That's the one earlier I couldn't get. Alright, so everything except for the SATA has been disconnected. So now I'm going to disconnect the SATA cables. Just go down the line. Just pull. Except for that one. That one had a clip for some reason, so I had to put some pressure on it. So does that one. And that one. And that one. So they all have these little clips on them. You gotta make sure you put some, you don't just yank it up. You actually have to put some. Now that one did not have it. So that pulled out. This one does. Okay. And that one was not connected. Okay, so now the only thing left is the power switch and the reset switch. All the switches and the speaker is obviously right here, which I can leave connected. Yes, my board is very dusty. And I still pulled it off by accident. Alright, cool. So everyone, I have officially disconnected all the components from my motherboard. It is totally free now. Yay! So now that I think about it, the only question I have here is, what do I do about USB ports? Well, I guess I'll be stuck with just the already onboard. I guess the ones that connected to the motherboard itself in this area. So those are the ones I'll be stuck with because I haven't thought through in the build how to put USB, I guess, connections on there. But anyway, so when I purchased, this is not the bag that came with it. When I purchased this, it came with a bag with this. So what we'll be doing is, first of all, this is our power switch. This is the button I'll be mounting. We just push it and turn it on. So that's what I'm going to screw it into. Now be the power button for the whole rig. Because it does have these little, whatever they're called, I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, threads. It has the threads that obviously is threaded through that way. All right, so also these little bronze tips are what we have to screw into the actual mount to put the motherboard into. So that's what I'll be doing next. And then we have a few different screws. So let it focus. A few different types of screws in there. We'll figure out which one goes where. But the biggest thing is getting the right pegs, the bronze pegs. We're getting those screwed in the right places on the board up here. And then from there I can position the GPU mount. And then from there I can also position the power supply. So honestly, it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal. The biggest problem I'm going to have is, yes, I have 4 hard drives. I read the description. This only supports 2 SSDs. And I believe, no, 1 SSD and 1 HD. So now what I'll be stuck with is, how do I get the rest of these things on the wall? Do I collapse the data into one place? Or do I get creative in how to mount these on the wall themselves? I think I'll do the latter. I'll get creative. Okay. All right, we'll see how that goes, though. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and I'll take the motherboard out today and get it measured up on the wall, on the mount, and then we'll do the rest of it later. Right now, I'm going to lay this very heavy wall mount on the floor. So this is all steel, very heavy metal. I would say roughly, probably about 10 pounds, honestly, by itself. Let's get the board out. There's my baby. Yes. So now all I'm gonna do is line up. Looks like it's already has some of the basic holes filled. Yeah, they line up just right for a lot of these. Looks like the person that designed this had all of them just right. So now let me try to figure this part out. The biggest part for me to figure out, these edges are pretty easy to track without the board on the mount, but the ones that are harder, the middle row. So I gotta figure out. So what I'm doing is like a finger test here. So if I put my finger right here, so that means that not this one, but this one is the center line for my motherboard. So that's it. So I'll do 3 across the top, like they already are, 3 in the middle at that line, and then 3 at the very bottom. And that's it. Simple as that. Let's put it in. So I did take off one of my gloves so I can screw these in properly, the pegs. So the importance of make sure the pegs here are screwed in is because they act as spacers that allow for airflow around the board. Please, if you're in a rush and you're just too excited and you think, hey, I don't have to put the spacers, I can screw it directly in. No, please don't do that. Your board, one, will be completely cut off from circulation of air behind certain components. I'm not saying it will overheat and melt immediately, but it will reduce the performance of the board over time. And also what I'm thinking about now is that all the times I saw wall-mounted computers, you know, one thing I never thought about was the fact that you rarely see them with all the cable connections run. That is what I realized. It was like, oh, they look so awesome and pristine and all these colorful lights on, but then you don't realize that, hey, for instance, I got to figure out how to run the CPU cable through the back of the board, through the back of the wall mount, like probably through this slot here, and connects this way. So it's all about cable management. So running a lot of the cables through the mount, under, around the back, and out through these slots that make the best connections. So you got to put some thought into this when you start doing these wall mounts and how to make it look as pristine and pretty as everyone else's pictures are. Okay, so I think what I'll do now is figure out which of these screws match the black ones I currently had in there. I think this is it. So I don't think it matters if I use those or not, because I have a whole bunch of leftover screws anyway. I'm pretty sure I can find some from this. This is from the build when I did the server. which I love the lighting on that. And yes, I do have a pink polka dot stool under my desk. And yes, I do have a lot of cable management I have to do now because I've been sloppy with the build so far. So I'll be fixing that as well. Look, by the time I post the videos and I have everything finished, you'll have before and after, and then you'll see how lovely everything has been laid out. And all of you will be envious of me. Yes. All right. Let me put my glove back on. I couldn't control myself. I'm still unscrewing my old machine. And I'm like two micro thoughts away from opening my graphics card. Okay? I've actually gone to the point of screwing in the mounts. I feel like I let you down. I feel like I just let you down. I did. I told myself I'd do a little bit of it every day. I would walk away. And I'm still here. Okay. All right, getting back to it. Okay. So I got this one screw partially out of the power supply. I cannot, in all good conscience, allow this screw to not relieve itself of that weight. And then it will put too much strain on the other three screws if the fourth screw's not in there. So I have to take this out. Okay? I have to. No judgment. So what I realized when I was putting the power supply, which is still looking gorgeous. I love this thing. A little dusty, but it still looks really clean. I love the finish on it. Anyway, what I realized is that it's probably best to pass all these wires, cables, through that opening before I position it on the actual mount. So we'll do that. All right, so it's day 6, I believe, of the build. I'll fix the numbers later. But anyway, today we're going to finish up where I left off yesterday. And I did a little bit extra. I told myself not to, but I did a little bit. Kind of just to test stuff out. Still use my old phone, right? Like I said, part of this series is just to see the quality difference in video, audio, whatever it is, using just standard equipment anyone would have. So my phone, the OnePlus Nord 10 5G, is the phone I've been using this whole time. And this is my new phone, the Pixel 7 Pro. Which I'll start shooting from after I finish this part of it, I guess. But just trying to stay true to my word. So let's pick up where we left off yesterday. I'm going to take the mount off the wall. I'm going to show you one thing I did today. All right, so here we have it. This is the mount. This is where I left off yesterday. The only thing I did to the rig is I plugged in the power cord. And that's it. And the USB is ready and loaded with the operating system I'll be using. Now, this is something else I did today. So I get all of it in a shot. I have used double-sided tape. Yeah, that's my Christmas hat. I used double-sided tape, 3 strips across the back of that. I properly cleaned the wall. As you can tell, the lines are not as prominent, if not all gone. I'm gone altogether. Still have to scrub these parts of the walls when I'm done. But anyway, so I scrubbed the wall, used some alcohol, wiped it down again after. Then I used the adhesive tape, double-sided tape, to stick the hard drive to the wall. So this is an old spin drive. I have 3 of these, and I have 2 SSDs that already currently exist in the tower in the box. So I'll be getting creative, like you see here, and I'll also be pushing these to the wall. I have 2 more to put on this side. I'm gonna do my spin drives here, hard drives, and then across the top I'm gonna do a make sure I do the solid state drives across the top, and I'll add some lighting around all this stuff later. Today I'm just going to add the solid state drive here, the new one that will be running the new operating system, and I'll be unboxing the graphics card and installing that and figuring out how I'm going to run these, which connect to the graphics card. All right, that's it, y'all. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to try my best to keep the gloves on and do all the things I feel like I need to be done for this, which is really just figuring out which screws go into this hard drive. Now, what you'll notice is that it should line up with the slots. So not really the holes here. It lines up in here. So that's where I'm trying to screw it in the back of there. So this is going behind the plate, and the screws will be right here in the front. All right, so it looks like I found the screws I'll be using. These rounded head, the ones with the rounded heads. They fit just right. It's about enough space comparable to the thickness of the mount itself. That's it. So let's go and get 4 of these out and get ready to screw this together. All right, here we are in the mess of cables on the floor at this point. I did somewhat secure the solid state drive on here, and also found out my other 2 drives. I thought I had 3 spin drives, but actually 2 spin drives and the other 2 were solid state drives. So good find. Got to design my wall mounting at this point a little differently, but it's all right. So what we're going to do is plug in the power adapter for the SATA power strip. And that is this cord here. It has all the SATA connectors for the hard drives and whatever else uses it. All right, let's go and plug this in. All right, y'all. So I was going to push myself to finish this and connect the GPU, the graphics card. But I told myself, no, I'm going to discipline myself a little bit tonight and just finish this tomorrow. But there we have it. Everything's connected except for the GPU. That's where that's going to go, right here. And the box is right there. Super excited to take it out, but everything else is here. The only thing left to do is I have some extension cables coming for the SATA power and also connecting to the motherboard, the SATA slots there. I have those coming, but it won't be here till next week. So this build is going to be on pause for another week. The full build, but I'll turn it on tomorrow probably.
Hey y'all, so I am back kind of. So I did a lot of stuff last night that I walked through on the video. So all I did this morning was connect some of the cabling. So the Ethernet cable, the USB for the KVM. Of course, I got my HDMI's hanging here. Missing one for my third monitor. I did put up the hard drives, the external hard drives. Well, internal external hard drives. And then my other hard drive is right there. And we are good to go. Right now, I'm taking a break from doing that build and going to get my display monitor set up for the Proxmox server and the Zimmer board that I'll be doing some projects on. All right, so we are back later in the day. This is now the time I've been waiting for.
Well, we got power to the board. Indicator lights are on, as well as one behind the connector here. Let's hit the power button. Make sure to switch. And there we have it. The power switch is connected properly. Looks like everything is running. Love it. All right, y'all, so that's it. We did it. We finished the initial build. I hope you love the final results. I love them, and I look forward to sharing with you all the next steps, which are going to include virtual machines, configurations, automation. We're going to cover everything I could possibly think of, and I look forward to adding more devices as well. At the end of the day, this has to be a cyber range. It has to be something that is going to really reflect the kind of environment we run into on a daily basis, whether at home or at work. I want the real danger to be there, but being controlled. Now, if you don't know what a cyber range is, we'll have more videos on that in the future. But until then, just understand it is really the thing you want to have if you're interested in getting into cybersecurity, because it allows you to practice your skill set and it allows you to develop and just grow so much faster and more confidently. And I'm hoping it can help you get into where you want to work or just progress yourself as well in your career. If you like it, comment. If you don't like it, still comment. And I'm hoping we could do some things in the future to really improve your experience on this channel. Until then, let's enjoy the journey together. Bye.